We need your help. Where and how should we locate a greenhouse? What would you do? You know how proper sunlight is important for healthy plants. The best greenhouse location and orientation can help maximize the natural light that your plants receive. We're having some difficulty deciding on the best greenhouse location and orientation. We need your help. Live Life DIY with Rob. When it comes to building and setting up a greenhouse, location and orientation are probably the most important things to consider, the two most important things. The proper placement of a greenhouse can make the difference in the growth and health of your plants, right? Make sense? The experts say a greenhouse should run east to west with the south-facing orientation. They say that this provides the most amount of sunlight throughout the day. Supposedly, this orientation of a greenhouse is best because the angle of the sun, as it comes up in the morning, and goes through the afternoon, throughout the day. I don't know, it seems kind of backwards to me. So here's my thinking. We're, talking about purchasing a bow house greenhouse, the kind that looks like a half a circle. It seems to me that the ends should run north to south so that the sun comes up on one side of the bow house and moves across the curved top and sets on the other side. What do you think? What do you think? East to west or north to south? Let me know. Drop me a comment. Here's our problem. We are considering two possible locations. The first location is on our current greenhouse. You can see behind, on a garden that you can see behind me. Our garden's about 21 feet on the end and 28 feet on the sides. This is the south end, and from corner to corner, it's 21 feet. The longer east side from corner to corner is 28 feet. The reason I did this is a 100-foot roll of deer netting fits perfectly around the garden. So our original thought was to build the greenhouse right over top of the garden. I would clear some of the small scrubby trees that you can see on the back side. We'd have benches along that side, half of the greenhouse, and the plants in the ground on the other half, the half closest to us. This location would have a north end to south end orientation, the exact opposite of what the experts recommend. Oh boy. A couple of other things to think about with the position of a greenhouse: the slope of the land and the prevailing winds. Those are kind of two other important things. For us, our property is pretty much flat here. We don't have any slope to speak of or worry about. Flat. But we can have some pretty significant winds every now and then, and they blow from the west, which is behind me, this direction. So the second location is way out back a few hundred feet. It's a grassy area. With this location, we would have all benches inside the greenhouse. Tables on both sides and down the middle. And I'll have to cut down a few trees, all typical greenhouse. And we'd continue to use this current garden as a garden, maybe growing the hardier vegetables. What are you thinking? Let me know. I'm curious what you think. If we position the greenhouse east to west, as the experts say, we would maximize ventilation. Open up the ends and allow the wind coming out of the west to blow right through the greenhouse. If we position the greenhouse north to south, the winds would blow up and over the curve. As they came from the west, they'd go up and over the curved surface. And as the sun moves across the curved top from east to west, it would, set on the other side. What do you think is best? East to west, so the breeze blows easily through the greenhouse, Or the other way, north to south, so the sun comes up on the east side and sets on the west side of the bow house. One side to the other side. Please let me know. Please. Okay, what exactly are our greenhouse goals? What are our greenhouse plans? We live in the South where, most of the time it doesn't get super cold. Hardly ever snows or anything. A typical winter day from mid-December to mid-February, it averages around 30 degrees for a low and about 50 degrees for a high. Of course, back in this past December, this last winter, we had a week of record-breaking brutal cold weather. We actually dropped to 0 degrees, which was record-breaking crazy cold. But anyway, our goal is to extend the season on both ends, be able to get seeds started early and safely in the spring and not be concerned with a late season frost or freeze like we had this year that zapped our peach trees. No peaches this year. And the same thing in the fall. Protection from frost and freezing to extend the season. We aren't looking to fully operate a greenhouse year-round. I'm completely puzzled. I'm flummoxed. So, what would you do? Again, our land is flat, so slope isn't an issue. I do like the idea of the wind blowing west to east through the greenhouse to help cool it in the hot summer. And we are not way up north where the winters are cold and the sun angle is, wicked low in the winter. Wicked low sun angle. The sun angle does change here, but our goal is minimizing spring late season and fall early season frost and freeze damage. We aren't planning to attempt to grow exotic plants year-round. If you are a seasoned greenhouse gardener, we would love to hear your expertise about the location and orientation of your greenhouse. What do you like? What would you have done different if you could have, go back and change things? What are the most important factors to consider when choosing the greenhouse location and orientation? What do you feel is most important? Sun exposure? Wind direction? What? We want to confidently choose the best location and orientation for our greenhouse. It's a great DIY project. So, keep an eye out for our next video. Freedom! You tell them, Scarlett, freedom!